Greetings, planty people, and welcome back to my jungle. So, apologies for not uploading last week. I was having incredible back pain. Still a bit sore now, but we move. Now, as it is the end of the month of spooky season, I mean, it's always spooky season for me, but you know what I mean. I thought I would share some updates on my houseplants. So, should we start off with my favourite update? This one I've shown off before because it's a very spooky looking plant and it's recently started to put out leaves, which I'll show you in a second. So, I got this from the RHS show in the summertime, and it was one of those plants I'd wanted for a very, very long time because I like spooky plants at the end of the day. So, this is she. This is she. Oh, just look at it. These were the 3 main leaves that it came with, and it didn't really do much for a while. Oh, bloody fungus gnat. Ha, I caught it. As you can see here, we've got some lovely new growth. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new leaves coming through. Each little leaf is so fluffy, it's ridiculous. I understand why this would freak someone out. I know it's not everyone's favourite plant, but like I said before, I'm really into really spooky and weird looking plants. Now, I've heard a lot of people struggle with this plant because it's more of a terrarium plant. I got it from Micro Exotics, which specialise on like exotic bugs and isopods and mantis and stuff like that, so it's usually what you'd have in a bioactive terrarium. But I don't have an issue with humidity. This room's in the loft, so you know it's quite warm, and I've got a lot of plants, so it stays quite humid anyway. So like I said, I haven't really had any issues with it. I've noticed it likes quite a bright light and it doesn't like to dry out too much, so it sits just there behind me where that gap is there, and I have a grow light above me which I only have on if it's a really dark and dismal day. I just love it. I'm probably going to attempt to propagate it once it's put these leaves out because I want to have a backup plant of this just in case, because you never know, or to swap because I know a lot of people are after this one as well. Just one last little look. Just look at that. Look at that. I showed this in my spooky house plant video. I think it was 2 videos ago, I can't remember. But it's one of those, if I think of a spooky plant, this is the one I think of because it's got like these gothic studs on it. Obsessed. Okay, so another really cool update that I was really excited to show you guys. So this one I got a while ago as a cutting, and it's the Syngonium Steomachii. I think that's how you pronounce it. So look at that, that's its newest leaf. That's a really good thumbnail. Ha! Now this is one of those plants I hadn't heard of until I was just kind of doom scrolling on eBay, because I find eBay you find more obscure houseplant cuttings, so I recommend checking there. And I think I was on like page 4 or 5 and I was like, oh, I haven't seen this one before. So it came with a big leaf. That one rotted down, so I was a bit like, but once it rooted, I planted it, it grew, it's grown really fast, so I'm over the moon, So I can't wait for this one to get nice and big. It's currently in a hair dye pot. You can see some roots at the bottom there, so it's super happy. Similar care to the Begonia ferox, just on my shoulder here. Like, it's quite a bright light, more than you think it would, and I just don't let it dry out too much. I don't keep it wet per se, I just, you know, I'd wait till it's about 20% dry. Syngoniums can be a little bit thirsty sometimes, especially this one. It's a bit of a thinner leaf. I don't know, it's just so philodendron-esque. But yeah, let me know if you've heard of this one before. I just love it. It's so, ooh. It's so different to normal Syngonium. Syngonium are so cool. They deserve more love. They deserve much more love. And speaking of Syngonium, look at this. Look how big this has grown. This was a reverted variegated cutting I got for, I think it was Etsy, for a few £. So I thought, even if it doesn't give me the variegation, I still think it's a beautiful plant. This one stayed really small for quite a long time. I was a bit like, okay, the roots are fine, maybe it's just a little bit dormant and it's just getting used to, you know, being in soil instead of water. And this past summer, it's just grown like crazy. This is obviously my favourite leaf, look at that. And then we had a little bit less variegation on there. But then this one, it's like almost a half moon. It's delicious, it's beautiful. And I will be giving it a moss pole. It's currently on one of those sticks that you get free with a plant. It's not due a repot yet, The roots stay quite small with this Syngonium, so I'm not worried about repotting it as of now. But it's just beautiful. I really want to get the yellow variegated one as well and kind of intertwine them together. I don't know, I think it'll just look really cool and really beautiful. I love combining plants because it gives you a bit more dimension, and if you don't have a lot of room to have all these little pots everywhere, bug them together and they'll be best friends, I'm telling you. Just make sure it's a very similar care regime so you can, like, you know, look after it the same. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't. And the next update, ta-da! So I've shown this one before. So this is my Philodendron Glorious. So I got this one from Soil Ninja at the plant swap. I'm probably gonna have to chop this leaf off now, it's getting a bit haggard. But as you can see, whoa, she's outgrown her moss pole quite substantially, actually. Substantially, that's the word I'm looking for. But I had a bit of an issue with this one. Ah, it's doing it there. Do you see that? So it keeps getting stuck in here, and the little end of the stem keeps piercing the leaf. It's getting on my nerves, actually. And like I said, I don't have an issue with humidity, so I don't know why it's happening. So tell me if this has happened to you with any of the plants. It happened to me once with my Brandtianum. That one struggles to get out of its little sheath sometimes. So I might end up chopping this and starting from here. Oh, I don't know. I'm refusing to give up on this plant. I know it's not looking the best. I'm currently dealing with spider mites. I can't see any on the leaves. Yeah, we're in the clear, but I don't know, I want it to work because it's quite, you know, not an easy plant to get hold of, and it was given to me, so it will work. It will work. The shade tips below, please. Oh, it's so gorgeous though. It looks very similar to a Mycon's, very similar. Okay, so now I've done the nice updates. I want to show you two plants that aren't doing too hot, just to show you I still don't have the best luck with plants. It's all a journey. I've said this before in a previous video, but you know, things happen. Things happen. As I just said, I have spider mites at the moment. It always happens every end of the summertime. It's because it's getting colder outside, so all these little weevils are coming inside and they're like, a salad. And here we are. So a lot of my friends are dealing with all sorts of pests at the moment. That was a mouthful. So I don't know if you remember my varicosum philodendron. Well, this is her now. It's looking very sad. I trimmed off some of the kind of crusty, disgusting leaves that were very much attacked by spider mites. And you know what? There's hope. Look at that little shoot. It's all going to be okay, guys. I am determined for this one to work because she's been through a lot. It's like fallen over, it's had spider mites like thrice. Spider mites thrice, please, no thank you. And yeah, I'm not giving up. I keep it in there in like a box of all my rehab plants, and she's determined. She's determined, so I will keep you all updated on this sad little stick with a shoot. Ugh, it's a shame, isn't it? Oh well. And in exactly the same font, this is my Philodendron El Choco. Ew. Now you're probably thinking, why have I not chopped this leaf off? There is a shoot there. It's because I have beneficial mites on it at the moment to eat all the spider mites, and the other day when I looked at it, I saw some, I can see one now actually, eating all the little spider mites. So I have noticed most of my plants are spider mite free now, so they've done their job. And if you want to know which ones I've been using, so I got it from was it Ladybug Care? Can't remember, I think it was. And it's the Anso Mite Plus. I'll show you, Anso Mite Plus. These last for a few months, and it has a little hole in there, and these tiny little bugs will come out. Don't worry, if you're afraid of bugs, you don't see them. They just kind of march up and down your plants and have a little lunch. And it's beneficial. And it's a better way of doing it because not everyone's into insecticides, which is completely valid. But make sure you're only using one or the other, because if you use insecticides, you will also kill the beneficial bugs. Does that make sense? Yeah. And last but not least, another plant that makes me sad to look at because it was doing amazingly just a few weeks ago. You probably guessed that was going to happen. I just don't get on with Frydek. I don't know what it is. Maybe, yeah, there are spider mites on it. That makes sense. I'm going to trim these off. I just had a look at the roots, and the roots are perfectly fine. It's a little rhizome, not squishy at all, so there is hope. So keep that in mind with alocasia. As long as the bulb and the roots aren't squishy and far gone, you can grow it back. And I do have a little spare one that Lottie gave me back there in semi-hydro, so it's not the end of the world. These things happen. One day I'll get it, I promise. It just makes me sad, it makes me sad. And a little update for you, I have ordered a little pet. I'm gonna see if you can guess it. They're kind of spooky looking and they're exotic, but they only grow about that big. See if you can guess. And it should be coming this week. So I will show you my little baby. I'm so excited. I already have isopods, so I'm super excited to get something else because I was planning on getting frogs, but I quite simply do not have the room at the moment. Maybe in the future. So yeah, let me know what plants or planty related things are your favourites this month. I would love to know. Maybe get some inspo. I'll leave all my social medias down below, and if you want a 10% off Grow Gang, I've also got a link there as well. So I'll see you in the next one. Hope you've had a lovely month and a lovely Halloween. See you guys.